Hello everyone, I am here with a true story. This one is by Lisa Pullman Dolensky. And it is called Pulling Our Heartstrings from Heaven. Mommy, wake up! I was sound asleep when my 5-year-old son Max crawled into my bed shouting. Even though I was blurry-eyed, I could tell his little face was pale and worried. Mommy, I had a dream. I was up in heaven. Really? He needed no prompting to keep talking. In fact, Max was talking so fast and animatedly that he reminded me of a speed-up chipmunk cartoon. And I was trying my best to decipher and hold on to his every word. There was an angel. It told me to tell you that I had this dream, but I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl angel. The angel showed me trees where you could just wish for what you wanted to eat and the food would be there like magic. There were even candy trees. I also saw children angels learning to fly. It made me laugh when they fell down trying. Well, could you fly with your wings? I asked. No, because I was just there visiting. They don't want me there yet, he said. How could he make that up? I was relieved and smiled at his excitement. Then his whole body started shaking, so I pulled him close in my arms. Then I saw this really long, shiny train. It had a gold and silver shiny engine with a face on it with sparkling blue eyes and gold-rimmed glasses. The face talked and said she was Grandma Herdman. She had a really nice laugh. How sweet. Max has always heard us speak of Grandma Herdman. I thought as I recalled his father's grandmother, I also thought it was cute because Max loves to play with toy trains more than anything. Max spoke even faster, a bit like a chugging little locomotive himself. I felt his heart pounding through his pajamas, beating as if to keep up with the pace of his speech. His forehead began to sweat as it was pressed to mine. Then he looked at me hard in the eyes without blinking. The funny thing was, she only carried tires in her train. Hundreds, too many to count. I've never seen a real train, TV train, or pretend one in books carrying tires. Mommy, you won't believe what she told me. He gulped and whispered with watery eyes. She said, I have a warning for you, Max. Stay out of the street today because you might get hit by a red car. Mommy, she said it over and over. She knew my name. She knew that I loved to play with trains. I felt like I knew her too, and I wasn't afraid of her. My smile faltered a bit as I thought about this. Grandma Herdman had passed away 2 years ago, before Max was old enough to remember his great-grandmother. Just now, when Max had mentioned that the train cars in his dream were full of tires, I instantly knew his unusual dream had to be a message from heaven. Grandma Herdman had retired decades earlier from a B.F. Goodwrench tire plant in Akron, Ohio. This was something that Max wouldn't know. During Grandma's last weeks of life, she had told me she had been hit by a Model T Ford on a dirt road at the age of 5 and had to learn to walk again. More facts Max wouldn't be aware of. Max also had a favorite battery-operated remote control car that he loved to play with nearly every day outside on our driveway beside our sometimes busy street. A feeling of eeriness and peace washed over me simultaneously. I kissed Max's forehead and assured him that his dream was God's way of telling him that his angels were watching over him. I told him that his sweet great-grandma Herdman had loved him very much. I also told him that I believed his dream was a message from her to be careful so he would be safe. I explained that when she was on the earth, she had worked at a place that made thousands of tires, and that's why she carried tires in her train. I encouraged him to pay attention to his dreams, and that heaven was real and something to believe in. So were the tires where she worked, too many for me to count. His eyes widened as he asked the question. Yes, too many for you to count, I said. The last time Max had seen Grandma Herdman alive, he had been about 3 years old and had begged to carry his toy doctor's kit to the hospital when he visited her. He walked in the door announcing, "I'm here to fix you." "Oh, I see," she said with a smile as she spied the toy doctor kit in his hand. Max played doctor, listened to her heart, and gave multiple pretend shots to make everything all better, while she softly laughed. She smiled as she used the toy reflex tool like a hammer to supposedly adjust her bed as she secretly moved the controls. He thought he was really moving her bed. "It's magic," he muttered as he banged away. She chuckled and called him Magic Max. "Thank you, Dr. Max. I'm feeling so much better," she told him as she winked at me. "My bed even feels better. I'm ready to go home now." Then she pointed up to the ceiling. I wondered, does she mean go home to heaven? But I didn't ask. When I was alone with her, Grandma Herdman told me she had lost her mother as a young child, before she herself was hit by a car. She thought her accident erased the memories she should have had of her mother. I could never remember anything that happened before the accident, she told me. I just had to believe what people told me about her, and they would sometimes say my mother was looking down from heaven at me. Grandma died a few weeks later, and now she had found a way to communicate with her great-grandson, who had been too young to remember her alive. But I knew without a doubt she had remembered their last visit and was looking down at us from heaven. When Max and I went outside, the weather was beautiful, but I heeded Grandma Herdman's safety warning. We usually played on the driveway first during the cool part of our summer mornings, but instead on this day we chose the backyard. Later, I placed family photos on the coffee table without saying a word to Max, as he pushed his wooden trains and configured tracks all around. When he noticed the random photos, he picked up the photo of Grandma Herdman and said, "Mommy, look, this is Grandma Herdman, the talking face I saw on the train. She's so cool. She went to heaven and gets to pull tires." Then he went right back to playing. I was once again thankful for how she had pulled at our heartstrings all the way from heaven.